with placing the water heater. The two most important pipes that cannot really be manipulated too much is your gas pipe and your flue pipe. The copper lines can be changed very easily with just a couple extra fittings. So you want to line up your flue and line up your gas. Okay, we're going to hook the gas piping back up now. More often than not, most water heaters have their gas valve set at the same point. We're gonna put the T's in and the nipples in and see how it does. All right, you don't want. It's not against code anymore to use Teflon tape on gas piping, but I do not. I still just use a good amount of pipe dope. I'll get this put together and I'll get right back. When tightening the nipple into the gas valve, you want to get it snug by hand first and go another about half turn. Gas pressure is less than a half a pound per square inch, so it's very, very light. So you don't need to crush this in. This soft metal will break with the steel nipple if you go too hard. After the piping is put in, you test it with a soap solution or bubbles, and that will be more than enough to make sure it's not leaking. When installing gas pipe, you don't need to crush it in there. Just make it good and snug. When you're working against the gas valve, make sure you hold back so you don't put any undue pressure on the gas valve, left or right. This was the nipple that came out of the old heater, right? Way too big, right? I'm gonna remove the union from the nipple, put it on, and then get my measure. Now I have the bottom side of the union. Put it together, bring the nut down, and make it tight. Just hand tight. Once those two faces touch, they're not gonna touch any further, right? That nut's this top nut is what makes the connection. Take a measure from face to face. Right, so I got a measure of 4 3/4. I want to add a 1/2 inch for this make-in, a 1/2 inch for this make-in. Right, so 4 3/4 is 5 3/4, roughly 6 inches. A 6-inch nipple will work just fine. Now I've got a properly sized nipple. I'm going to slide the water heater just a little out of place where it was, so I can get my wrenches on, so I can get that nice and snug. Make sure everything you get easier to get everything on hand tight. Couple turns, and then make sure you always hold back. Place. Connect the union. Excellent. Draft hood, right? This particular hot water heater is a natural draft hot water heater, which means when the flame kicks on the bottom, it creates heat. That heat rises up through the water heater, not only escaping out the top, but heating up the water as it travels up. There's a baffle inside, right, to keep that heat from to keep the heat slowed down, so it will heat the water up from the inside of the tank as well than just the bottom. The hood, right, allows the cool air to help pull the warm air up through the chimney. Put that in place. Get our measure. Roughly 10 inches. Another perfectly cut piece. Slide it in. Slide it over. Slide it down. You must put in 3 screws per joint, minimum. So I'm gonna put 3 screws into this joint. No screws needed here because it's not considered a joint on the top of the hood. All right, hot water tee, 3/4 on the bottom, 1/2 inch IPS on the top, 1/2 inch copper coming out of the side, the branch. Right, that's gonna go right on here, the cold water side. We're gonna mock this up to see how we're gonna connect this water piping. It looks pretty close. All right. Take our measure. 22.5. All right. That looks pretty straight too.